Well, good morning, everyone. Oh, we can do better than that. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Great. I'm Myron Watkins, Greyhound's Vice President of Customer Experience, and we're happy to be here today as we celebrate the new Greyhound Intermodal Terminal. Today, you will hear from individuals who were very helpful in the development of this new station. These are individuals who have worked hard on our behalf and who have offered their unwavering support and commitment to establishing a welcoming, state-of-the-art transportation facility that will benefit the Baltimore residents for many, many years. We know that without all of you here, this could not have been possible. I'd now like to introduce some of the distinguished guests that are on the stage with me. U.S. Congressman Elijah Cummings, representing Maryland's 7th District. Thank you. Baltimore, Maryland, Catherine Pugh. Baltimore DOT Acting Director Frank Murphy. And Greyhound Executive Bill Blankenship. I'd also like to recognize some individuals that are out here in the audience with us. Judge Michael Reed with the Maryland Circuit Court. Thank you. Associate Judge Haya Freeman, Baltimore City Circuit Court. She here? Okay. Former Congressman Kwasi Mfume. Dr. David Wilson, President of Morgan State University. Jean Fugit, mother of Reginald Lewis. Jerome Stevenson from the office of U.S. Senator Ben Cardin. Valerie Cunningham, attending on behalf of Senator Van Hollen. Are there any other elected or appointed officials in the room that we did not recognize? If you'd please raise your hand. Okay. I'd now like to welcome our first guest to the podium. This person oversees all of Greyhound's operations and manages the overall business process and strategy for the organization. He ensures that our customers remain at the heart of everything we do and ultimately have an outstanding experience traveling with Greyhound. It is my pleasure to welcome our Chief Operating Officer, Bill Blankenship.
Thank you, Martin. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. What a great turnout. Thank you for joining us this morning. We're excited to be here today to celebrate the new Greyhound Intermodal Terminal here in Baltimore. We worked on this project for many years, and we're happy to see it come to reality. This would not have been possible without the effort of several people, such as Mayor Pugh and the City of Baltimore, who provided tremendous assistance and support for this project. DOT Acting Director Frank Murphy, who's been exceptional to work with during this project, the architects who had an amazing eye and vision for this great design of our facility, the contractors and construction team who put a great deal of hard work into building the facility, as well as everyone else who contributed to the development of the Greyhound Intermodal Terminal. We greatly appreciate all of you. We would especially like to acknowledge and give a very special thank you to a person who was instrumental in developing our new terminal, working tirelessly to help secure federal grant funding for our new station in order to provide better access to Greyhound as an exceptional transportation option for the great residents of Baltimore. There is much talk these days about public-private partnerships. The building of this terminal was truly such a partnership and was engineered and guided by Congressman Cummings. Congressman Cummings, thank you for everything you've done for Greyhound and for your involvement in this process. We are extremely grateful for your support and your leadership, and we are honored to dedicate this facility to you today. To my left is a plaque that will be mounted near the front door of the terminal for everyone to see and recognize how much influence you had in developing the new intermodal station. Thank you for everything you've done, and thank you for support of Intercity Bus. We have served the Baltimore community for many, many years. So many years, in fact, that one of our first riders could even been a young Babe Ruth. We have transported millions of customers to and from this great city, and we look forward to offering great service to our customers from our new location. Greyhound is currently undergoing a major transformation. Within the past few years, we've upgraded our fleet to a new modern design. You can see the beautiful bus behind us. Added premium amenities like free Wi-Fi, electrical outlets so you can charge your smartphones, and leather seats. Oh yes, we've added extra legroom, more legroom than what you'll get on a typical airline seat in economy class today. The grand opening of our new Baltimore station is evidence of the ongoing enhancements we're making to create an outstanding travel experience for our customers. And of course, you are all welcome to take a trip on Greyhound anytime you like. Again, we're thrilled to be operating from a new station, which many of you played a large part in helping us obtain. And we thank you for all your continued support of Greyhound. I'd now like to welcome the man of the hour to the stage, whose commitment, diligence, and leadership throughout this process is the reason we're able to stand here at our new station today. And we're extremely thankful for everything he has accomplished to make this happen. Congressman Elijah Cummings has dedicated his life to improving the lives of those he represents. For more than 20 years, he has proudly represented Maryland's 7th Congressional District in the United States House of Representatives, has worked to ensure residents have access to quality health care and education, clean air and water, and a strong economy. As a senior member of the House Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure, Congressman Cummings strives to provide easy and affordable access to transportation, and the Greyhound Intermodal Terminal is a testament to that. It is with great pleasure that I welcome Congressman Elijah Cummings to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. You can be seated. Before I make my presentation, I want to take a moment. My mother, who is watching, she suffered a stroke about a little bit over a year ago, but they're streaming this to her. I'm so glad. But she always taught us that you always thank the bridge that brought you over. So often people get over the bridge and they forget that there is a bridge, Terry, or that there was one. And there were two people that were very instrumental in making this happen long ago, when they came up with a petition and legislation before our Baltimore City Council. And that was Marcellus Jackson and Eddie Smith, Jr., my former law partner. And they worked night and day and night to make this happen. In the words of Sam and Dave, they didn't have to do it, but they did. And I thank you. So Eddie, why don't you come on up and let people know, give a little history, and then I'll have my 7 minutes of remarks.
Thank you very much, Elijah. On behalf of the Legacy Preservation Foundation, Marcellus Jackson, Reverend Daki Napata, we take pride in making sure that Elijah's legacy goes on from this point forward. As a partner, he was a good partner. As a partner for this city and for this country, he has been a very proud warrior. He has been somebody who has stood up and who has looked people in the eye who may not believe that we are entitled as human beings to all that America affords us. His wife is there, and I want to recognize her, because without a good woman, you're not going to get too far in this life. And so she has to be acknowledged. Let me say that people push you in this life. People undergird you in this life. People morally stand by you in this life. Elijah and I not only were partners, but we were friends. Marion Turner, who was out there, brought us back together at some point. Madam Mayor, I'm very proud to talk about friendship. I'm very proud to talk about Morgan, Doc, because we all know those ties bind us and will bind us for years to come. And when we're gone, there will be remembrance. God has been good to all of us. Every single day, he has provided the kind of leadership that we need. Kwesi Mfume, who is there, who has been a friend of mine ever since I changed his name for him back in the 1970s, son of conquering kings. And he has been like a brother to me all along this path that we lead. So Elijah, you're going to keep on going. We know as we watch your smile, as I have watched it over the years, it's a hard road sometimes, but we know that God always has our feet on the road, pushing us forward to more and better things for the people of this country. So thank you all for coming. Thank you, Legacy Preservation Foundation, and we will continue to do what we do to recognize our people and all people of goodwill. Thank you, Elijah.
Let me join, thank you very much, Eddie, and thank you, Marcellus, for all of your hard work. Eddie beat me to it, but I wanted to recognize my wife, who I love dearly. Stand up again. Come on now. It is certainly my honor to be here this morning, and I am humbled by all of this. This morning I was just thinking about, Mr. Blankenship, the role that Greyhound and buses have played in my life. My mother, who I just mentioned, is watching. When she came from South Carolina back in the 1940s with my father, she was 18 and my father was 21. And they came here looking for a better life. They wanted to make sure, Eddie, that their 7 children, 6 of whom had not even been born yet, were able to get a good education. So it was buses that brought them from Manning, South Carolina. It was buses that allowed her, Madam Mayor, to, from day to day, get up at 5 o'clock in the morning after she got to Baltimore and go out to Guilford and Roland Park. Kwesi, you know the story. $7.25 in car fare. But buses would take her, and she'd spend 8 or 9 hours a day cleaning other people's floors, raising their children, and then come home on a bus. Then she would take another bus around 6 o'clock in the evening, 7 o'clock after she'd taken care of her family. And then she would take another bus to the 900 block of West Lexington Street, where the 25-member church, the United Glorious Church, Pentecostal church, they would sit around with 5, 6, sometimes 10 women, and they would sing songs and hymns and pray. And then often she'd take another bus to somebody's house who was sick, clean their house for some member of the church. And then later on, it was a bus that took me from Edmondson Village and my brothers and sisters. And by the way, I want to thank most of my family for being here, and my daughter Adia. Where's Adia? It was a bus that took us to school from Edmondson Village all the way over to City College. Every day, the bus. And then it was a Greyhound bus that took me from Baltimore to Howard University over and over and over again. Is a bus. Somebody once said that one of the most accurate ways to determine whether somebody lives in poverty is their ability to move. Their ability to move from one place to another. And so often we take all of that for granted. As I get older, I think more and more about destiny and how it is that we have Greyhound, which was so, I was talking to John Lewis the other day about the Freedom Riders. And he told me about, Congressman Lewis that is, he was telling me about how so often Greyhound bus drivers would take them into places like Anniston, Alabama, and Birmingham, and would put their lives on the line to protect young African Americans and others trying to secure their rights. Greyhound. Greyhound, a company that elevated a man named Joe Black, a man who started his professional baseball career a year after I was born in 1952. And a Morgan State graduate, Joe Black. But they did something else that was so significant, Marcellus. They made him a first vice president. It was major. And I remember I would race to the radio to listen to Joe Black, who had become a first vice president of Greyhound, who had spent time in Baltimore, who was African American, and who set an example in a time when it was not fashionable for black men or women to hold such positions. Destiny is something else. And so I am thankful that all of this is a part of my destiny. President of Morgan, Dr. Wilson, I sit on the board of Morgan. He will tell you that many of his students, in order to get home to New Jersey and New York and all over the country, taking the bus. Finally, let me say this, that one of the things that when we came up with this concept that has about $4 million, a little bit more than $4 million federal dollars in it. By the way, it was quite a few years ago that we came up with the money. It took a while to get it up and going, but that's all right, it's here. One of the things that we wanted to do was make it intermodal. In other words, we wanted to make it so that when you got off the bus, you could perhaps get another bus or get light rail or get to where you've got to go. It's nothing like being dropped off in the middle of nowhere, with nowhere to get to where, no way to get to where you have to go. And so it is that I'm excited about this. I don't get excited about too many things, but I'm excited about this, not for me, but for the little boy who will perhaps one day look at the plaque. And maybe he'll ask his mother, say, "Ma, who was that guy? Elijah, who was it?" And I would hope that she would say to him, in the words of Thurgood Marshall, he was a good man, and he did the best he could with what he had. That's what it's all about. It's not about me. It really isn't about us. It's about future generations yet unborn. And this is our watch, and I could not, it would be malpractice for me not to address this. In this day and age where we are dealing with uncertain times, all of us must keep in mind that it is our watch. And just like in 1961, when the Freedom Riders rode and mobs came along and burnt up the Greyhound bus, and in some instances forcing young demonstrators to stay in the bus while it burned, but they made it through. And I think that that needs to be our theme, no matter what may be going on in this country. We have to stand up for what we believe in, and that's what Eddie Smith was talking about, legacy. But in order for our people to really understand and be empowered by those who came before them, they have to know about them. And I'm so glad that you all saw fit to count me in the number of those that they may want to look back at. And so to our mayor, I want to thank you. To Mayor Rawlings Blake also, she was very instrumental in this. I want to thank her. I want to thank Greyhound for doing what you do and for doing something else. Brother Blankenship, when you were talking, I could not help but think about something that I tell my office, oh my God, to my office, my staff. I have probably the greatest staff in Baltimore or Washington. It is a phenomenal staff. A total of about 100 people work with me. And they are phenomenal. But my staff, stand up, please. I could not do what I do without them. Thank you. Thank you. And to Mission Barbecue, I have a deep spot in my heart for Mission Barbecue. First of all, my wife loves Mission Barbecue. But when Katie Malone, one of our staffers, when 6 of her children died in a fire, one of the first calls we got was from Mission Barbecue, wanting to do anything they could to be supportive of Katie Malone after she lost her 6 children. And I will never forget that. You know, it's something about when you are down and people come to your aid at that moment, you never forget. And so again, I will end by going back to how I started, thanking you. And in the words of the great philosopher, the one who we danced to at Howard University back in 1969, Sly and the Family Stone, I want to thank you for letting me be myself again.
Thank you, Congressman Cummings. We have one other person I'd like to recognize that's in the audience with us, former Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake. If you could please raise your hand. There you are. Thank you. Great. Thank you for being here. Next, I'd like to welcome to the podium the Mayor of Baltimore, whose efforts during this process were very much appreciated. It should come to no surprise that Mayor Catherine Pugh wanted to assist with the development of a new Greyhound station, as she constantly strives to provide the best for the Baltimore community. She has served the city of Baltimore for more than 15 years in various capacities, including the Baltimore City Council, the Maryland General Assembly, House of Delegates, the Maryland Senate, where she was named Legislator of the Year, as well as a co-founder of the Baltimore Design School and a founder of the Baltimore Marathon, as well as many other roles. Creating a thriving Baltimore community is a mission for this mayor, and we are very fortunate that the new Greyhound Intermodal Terminal was part of that vision. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Catherine Pugh to the podium.
Yeah, I was so glad to see Stephanie Rawlins Blake here, our former mayor, because I said either I'm a miracle worker, but you know, it's really important for leadership to carry on what others have put down. You know, you don't get to these positions by yourself. And I always say the sign of a good leader is look at what's being done well and to continue to do it. So thank you, Mayor Stephanie Rawlins Blake. Let me also say to my congressman, you just make us proud every single day in every single way. And I was sitting there thinking, I said, now, let me just remember when, you know what? I came here on a Greyhound bus from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to go to Morgan State University. So we're all connected in some kind of way. But I'm just excited to be here because we're celebrating not just this Greyhound Intermodal Terminal, but we're celebrating our congressman for all that he's done for so many, for so long. And I'd like to thank the Department of Transportation, and you'll hear from our acting director, Frank Murphy. But I also like to thank the fine folks of Greyhound for all that you've done to make sure that we get what we deserve here in Baltimore. And I know, Congressman, that this was a big undertaking on your behalf, simply because $4 million just doesn't come that easy out of our government today. And so we're glad it's here too. Thank you for making sure that it got here. Your hard work is instrumental in us receiving those dollars, but it is your commitment on behalf of all of the citizens of Baltimore that makes such a difference in the lives of all of us. We're very excited about this partnership, and we know that it's going to make a big difference. This 9,000, I think it's 9,600 square feet, am I right? 9,600 square feet facility replaces a temporary structure that was once sitting here. It's ADA compliant, which is important to all of us. 8 covered bus lanes, a baggage handling area. All of this is right here for all of us today. But what is really important is this plaque that's going to stay here. And as our congressman says, it's a reminder of leadership that matters, leadership that's made a difference, leadership that every day stands up on behalf of the citizens of this city and this nation. So we applaud you. We thank you for your work. We thank you for the work you've done for us in the past. We thank you for the work that you're doing for us today. But more importantly, we thank you for the work that you'll do for us in the future. God bless you, your family, and all of your supporters, and everyone that's here to see this today. But more importantly, for the people of Baltimore who will be beneficial as a result of it. Thank you.
We'll next have come to the podium Acting Director of the Baltimore DOT, Frank Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Watkins. Glad to be here today to see this ribbon cutting on a permanent facility. On a personal note, I've had a lot of dealings with Greyhounds over the years, working on moving to the temporary facility and now the permanent and relocating the Bolt bus. I've always found them to be extremely professional and accommodating, and so this is exciting to see today come for this permanent home here on Haynes Street. I'd like to thank a number of folks. Mayor Rawlins Blake, under whose tenure this project got started. My boss, Mayor Pugh, and by the way, is interesting. A lot of the information was about Mayor Pugh's resume. One thing we didn't hear is her extensive private business experience, and that's something that allows the highest office in City Hall to work with all of us in city government to try to sweep away bureaucratic impediments so that businesses in Baltimore can flourish and grow jobs, and I think that's so important. Also like to throw a shout out to our DOT team. We have a few of our folks here, John Everett, Ganesh Malla, and Tavon Braxton. Our design PM couldn't be here today, Michael Thomas, but he certainly deserves a shout out. He spent a lot of time making this project right. Also like to thank Department of General Services, STV, engineers, commercial construction, and Mymark, who actually built the facility. And I'd like to leave for last the person without whom this project would not have occurred, as you have heard from earlier speakers. And because of that person's tireless efforts to secure federal funding, without which this wouldn't have happened, and that's Congressman Cummings. Thank you very much for making this come to fruition. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We're coming close to the end now, but it's the most important part where if I could now ask the speakers to come forward a little bit so we can cut the ribbon.